Welcome, Troy. If you're with us, it's because you have logged on to YouTube and are joining us tonight for a presentation about an exciting partnership that we are in the midst of creating for all of our Troy community. My name's Bill Turner. I'm an administrator in the district, and more importantly, I'm someone that really appreciates and understands how much of an influence esports has had in the Troy community over the past couple of years. And it's been a personal goal of mine to give our kids, our students, more access at all levels, all grade levels, to this exciting technological revolution that is happening right before our eyes. Tonight, what this presentation is going to be, and it's going to be really taken over by this handsome man standing next to me, is going to be sort of our explanation of why we think partnering with a business that really knows esports better than any one of our teachers could know it, why that's such an exciting opportunity for our community. So without further ado, I'd like to put a face to a name. Nathaniel McClure is a owner of a esports company here local in the Oakland County. He is an exciting person to meet. His claim to fame that I brag to all of my students is that he was a former world champion in Call of Duty, and he has taken that excellence into a business venture in esports. And without further ado, Nathaniel.
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate it. My name is Nathaniel McClure. I'm co-owner of High School Esports. I've been in the competitive video gaming and development space for a little over 20 years. We've created High School Esports about 5 years ago here in Michigan. And the goal with this partnership really is to expand esports as a competitive endeavor into schools, just like traditional athletics. So we're super excited to share with you tonight what our roadmap looks like and hopefully answer any questions you have, as well as talk about next steps.
All right. So let's get that presentation going.
All right, so Nathaniel, here we are, Than. Just so everybody out there in the community knows, we've been saying Nathaniel, but he goes by Than. I think that's a pretty cool name, so I'm going to point that out. So Than, I think the way we should probably start this is with me allowing you to present this first slide, which has been the real compelling reason for why I connected with you in the first place, is why esports is so important to have in schools, because I think there's a lot of stigmas right now that you and I have both agreed, although they are starting to slowly disarm themselves. I think parents at home with their kids need to hear why it's so important to have esports in schools. So without saying anything else, I'm going to allow you to take this first slide and then run with this, because I think this slide sort of captures what the rest of the importance of this presentation will be.
Yeah, I totally agree. And this is this is the basis of my passion and excitement in this place. The esports is, at the end of the day, it's a competitive endeavor. It's something that a kid, adult, anyone can pick up and participate in and get better over time and test themselves against other people. It mirrors traditional athletics pretty much across the board. And why esports in schools is this great kind of merger of these two elements. For the first time ever, we have an entire generation that has, throughout their lifetime, competitive gaming, esports has been a real thing in existence. Almost every video game that kids are playing at home are competitive in some nature. So this gives it structure, which is great. It allows kids to take their passion and excitement for something that they do in their playtime, so to speak, and gives it that element of competition, team mechanics, all the offerings and learnings that we encourage our children, the reasons why we encourage our kids to participate in athletics, right? Yeah. Why we put them on the teams, why we have them go out. It exists, and in regards to functionality, it parallels all traditional athletics almost verbatim. You have tryouts, you have team creation, you have coaching, you have training, leagues, tournaments, practice. All of those things exist in this space. Yeah. But instead of running around with a ball or swinging with a bat, you are competing in a digital space. You are casting a spell or trying to score a goal or insert those things.
And I think everything you just listed, the one thing that you didn't, but I know you would agree with me on, which is my biggest excitement with this, is unlike other sports, critical thinking in esports is such an important part to the success, and the critical thinking that happens in the different games, to be able to do that in the schools where students are now collaborating with each other with how they critically think together to be successful in a game, just extends learning in ways that hopefully we can capture as educators and as adults, celebrate with those kids, make them feel good about themselves, empower them in ways that previously maybe only their friends on Discord were able to do. Now we're able to bring that into the schools, and then take that, as you're showing here, with scholarships, higher education, career pathways that are emerging through these games. All of that becomes something that we can, help harness in the school system.
Absolutely. One of the, for lack of a better term, issues, right, I encounter with a lot of parents or educators or people I'm talking about that are not familiar with the space is, my kid already spends too much time playing games or doing something. And that may be true, without a doubt. My first comment would be, well, you're letting them do it anyways. But now let's give it some structure and some positivity. Let's give some rewards to those kids. Yeah. Let them accomplish things other than just within their small circles.
Right.
What we've seen for some kids that participate in these types of programs is they blossom. They really have great skill sets. They have great socialization elements. They have all of these tools that are kind of hidden away, so to speak, at home playing these games. Giving them some structure and all these elements allows them to kind of blossom, so to speak.
Yeah. Awesome. So on the next slide that Than put together for us, it really speaks of the growth. This thing that we're doing in Troy, this initiative, we're asking for your help, Than, because we want to capture the interest. But this isn't something new, correct? We're not late to the game, but we're not the first in line, are we?
No, not at all. But the opportunity is still very ripe for kids and the district as a whole. We've seen significant explosion since 2015 with esports programs, clubs, and official teams throughout the country. There are many states, the last count I believe was around 20, where esports are actually varsity recognized athletic endeavors or programs in schools, which is great. Michigan is still at the club level. I know the Michigan High School Athletic Association is looking at this very closely. Last count, there were 50-some districts, schools with programs throughout the state. But also the secondary education is significant. Colleges with esports teams across the country has seen explosive numbers. And as you can see on the slide, the trajectory is a very positive upward trend. And of course, with that also becomes scholarships. Colleges are always, as we all know, right? Colleges are competing for new students, trying to get the attention of students to come participate in their programs, apply to their schools, and esports has become a significant hook where they are willing to offer partial or full ride scholarships for esports players, which is incredible. In major universities, like within our state, U of M, MSU, Wayne, everyone is developing a program. Ohio State, you name it. They're all developing significant programs, not only for the playing, but then also for career opportunities and the ancillary technology elements and STEM elements.
And let's not miss that. So maybe you can make that argument with all sports. You go into football, there's other career opportunities, unrelated to actually playing. But with esports, yes, it's going to help give you an opportunity in college. If you're on a sports team, you're going to get a scholarship. You're going to get the same coaching privileges and support that happens around your education. But what you're also getting probably is a direct connection to an emerging pathway that is a $1 trillion industry at this point, isn't it? Gaming and
it's a lot. I mean, the broad stroke entertainment element of video is massive, right? It dwarfs film, television, radio, all rolled into one. Yeah. But just the ancillary in regards to access to computers and technology that that esports gives that exposure students to. And with a program like with the Troy School District, the equality element of it, that all kids have access to this equipment and this opportunity is significant. Unlike some traditional athletic endeavors where you may not be able to get a full goalie set up in hockey or something like that. So, yeah, there's a lot of opportunities in this space, and the opportunities are a significant growth and constant growth rate, I guess is the way to see it. We don't see any downturn. It'll reach capacity at some day, but right now it's exploding and colleges are all over it. And another thing, too, to point out on this slide in particular, 90% of school-age kids play video games. That's an astounding number. Granted, that's not all the same game. That's not all the same platform like Xbox or PlayStation or whatnot. But 9 out of 10 of our kids are going home and playing video games. Let's give them some positive structure and potential positive outlets for that use.
Show them the positivity can extend beyond feeling good about winning a game. It can actually lead to some post-secondary success and open doors. We had, Than, I know I've mentioned this to you, we've had kids already in our district as far back as 2-3 years ago get full ride scholarships for winning esports, for winning one game. League of Legends, I remember this, what turned me on to this so many years ago when I was at Athens, was we had a group of students that all got full ride scholarships for winning a tournament in League of Legends to Lawrence Tech.
Absolutely. Lawrence Tech has done a great job with that program over the past couple of years. It's great. And how can you beat that, right? I mean, give a kid the opportunity to take his passion, which for a lot of these kids is games, and really leverage it to something that is going to make their lives better.
Yeah,
and that's awesome.
Okay, so this whole excitement, we've made it pretty clear that the two of us believe in this and that we are trying to support how this looks from an access point to all of our constituents in the community. But what does the partnership look like, Than? What is the next step that we can talk to our families about so they understand how a school district can work alongside a business partner like High Scores?
Sure. We'll give you a little bit of history on High Score. We've put, at this point, over $1 million in R&D into what it looks like, right? There's been traditional LAN centers and places that you can go play games. We wanted to take that a step further and really build a system where kids can learn while they play. They can become better players. We're trying to cultivate a opportunity for kids to improve, and hopefully that while the improvement is going to take place within a game, so to speak, that improvement is also going to manifest in other ways as well in regards to their social abilities, their technical abilities, all these other elements that, just like with traditional athletics, if you become part of a team, usually that has ancillary benefits of teamwork and training and all of those elements. So, sorry, in regards to us, we've been doing this for quite a while. Like you mentioned earlier, I've been in the video game space for over 20 years now as a developer, as a professional player, as a studio head, you name it. And over the past 5 years, as we've seen esports kind of take off and develop, we wanted to capitalize it locally. We've worked with all the people on the slide there. We've done esports events with the Red Wings at Center Ice, with the Pistons on the big screen at Imagine Theaters, with various high schools and cities and Parks and Recs departments, and also just players too. I'm a player myself. I still compete. Granted, it's old man league. It's not like it used to be, but while all of the partnerships with the big money stuff is all great and fun, at the end of the day for us, it's about gamers getting together and doing what they love, and that will carry through any partnership we have. And we've done, at this point too, same, we're at 150 plus live events that we've done, tens of thousands of local players throughout the region. It's been an awesome ride. And then we can look at how this comes together for both of us. When you initially reached out, we started the conversation of, okay, the district has some resources in regards to computer room, absolutely has the interest in all these young talented people who want to play some competitive gaming. And we have the experience of developing programs and systems and access to equipment at a reduced cost, all those things. So we, kind of explored on how's this going to come together, and we'll touch on in a minute, kind of a facility roadmap and what that looks like. But to keep it simple, Troy is going to supply the students, and High Score is going to supply the systems, coaches, training, and facilities elements to it.
Which is a pretty awesome partnership, because we are here just trying to provide and really hit the fast forward button on how we give access to our students, but also give training and give opportunities to our students. And quite frankly, we just don't have enough of the adults that know what our students know. So to bring you in, we're accelerating our own potential learning curve with this and bringing in someone who is an expert, and then we're providing an opportunity to you as well, I would think, because
Absolutely.
This is probably going to be one, and once we prove the success, this will be one of many partnerships you probably will have in high schools across the state.
Absolutely. I think you hit on the two significant business points, so to speak, really well. From the district's perspective, we hope that we confidently relay our expertise in this space. And why do you guys need to learn it? You have enough on your plate in regards to educating these young people and putting systems together. So we are here to fulfill that need, absolutely. And then I agree 100%. This is a significant opportunity for High Score, and we're very thankful to the school district, yourself, all the administrators that we've talked to so far. It's a huge opportunity for us to continue to grow and expand and create additional esports opportunities for not only the Troy district, but for kids all over Michigan.
Yeah. So going into the roadmap you were talking about, this is probably an important thing to quickly, they don't need to get into the nuts and bolts of everything, but so that they understand that this is something that is going to look one way in its first year, but it's going to accelerate in future years based on the community interest and community demand.
Absolutely. So we'll draw some comparisons that might be easy for a lot of people to recognize or understand. The goal is to develop teams within each school that parallel the current athletic teams that are in the school. Take football team at Athens or Troy or anyone else. So how we're going to do that, since we're building it from the ground up, is essentially this is the start right here. Obviously we've had conversations. We've been developing this for a year with you. There's going to be a link at the end of this where we're going to ask you students and teachers and parents to go sign up, so to speak, to give us some information. And then we're going to start developing these programs based on overall need. We know the desire's out there. We know the need is out there. But do we pick one game over another? Do we do multiple games? That will all be determined based on player-parent interaction and how they interact with us. And then we're going to spend the bulk of spring 22 in developing those teams and tryouts, training, get kids exposed to this opportunity, see what they like, see what they don't like, with the goal of developing competitive teams that will start next fall competing in interscholastic endeavors with schools across the state, region, and country.
Awesome.
So out of the gate next spring, we're going to focus on having our initial facility at the Troy College and Career High School within their existing computer lab, where kids are going to be able to go in and train and try out and play and participate in these competitive endeavors. And then the long-term goal is to open up a regional facility that will be a standalone off-campus within the Troy district for competitions, all these different elements. And then as well, within each individual school that has the need, essentially. So just like every one of these schools has a basketball court, ideally they're going to have a computer lab / esports center within the next couple of years as well, backed by High Score.
So with any partnership, there's costs, and there will be costs associated with this. And one thing before you talk about that in greater depth, Than, I wanted to make sure that it was clear that one of the things that your company did with meeting with our administration team was make sure that all of this was relative or fair to any sport cost that we charge our students, keeping in mind that with esports, the one thing that is different is that most of these tournaments do have costs associated with them, and kids know that because kids are spending that money now. What this is going to do is provide an opportunity for them to get training, to get competitive coaching, and really the collaboration of that team concept associated with their school, as well as provide some really high-end equipment, because they'll be on campus with equipment that you've helped provide to us, which is going to give them that edge that they might not have at home.
Absolutely. Yeah, we wanted to, like you touched on, we didn't want to price the opportunity, outside of the player. So we wanted the cost to fall within what you'd expect if you're a child or as a student, if you played on the tennis team or the football team or whatever. So it's very similar to those endeavors, right? You're going to come out for a team. You're going to train, try out, qualify for a team, and if you make it, if you're on the team, then you'll face similar costs. And with those costs will be your jerseys, your coaching, your training, your practice, all of those things. And then there's additional one-offs as well, where there might just be a tournament on the weekend or something. But then, in addition to, and I don't want to, because at the end of the day, there's going to be X amount of teams and X plus amount of kids that want to play. There's going to be opportunities outside just the team element as well. If you want to come in and play competitive gaming, there'll be a wide variety. You won't have to be on a team to participate within the district's esports program.
That is summing up the partnership and how it's going to look, and what we hope you all get from all of that is that there is a plan, but more importantly, there's an opportunity that exists in Troy that doesn't exist in a lot of districts that will become a real system for your son or daughter. And I don't know that it was really said, Than, so I want to make sure you didn't miss the opportunity to talk about the equity in all of this. I think one of the things that you said to me that always resonated with me as someone who really believes in what we champion around in our district, and we are trying to be leaders in equity for our students. Offering esports is something that needs to be around the lens of equity. We need to give all students the opportunity to participate, but we also need to we need to keep in mind that unlike other sports, what's really exciting about esports is that it doesn't matter how tall or short, how fast or slow, how big or small, what gender, what nationality, none of that matters with esports. All that matters is that you come to the table, that you're willing to put the time into your practice plan, that you can collaborate as a team member, and that you have the resilience to know how to get through something when the chips are down, so to speak. So
absolutely,
equity is going to be a theme in esports, and I'm really excited about that. And I don't know that we really touched on that, so I wanted to make sure that was said.
I agree 100%. And one of the many reasons I love this space, it allows, like you touched on, right? Like all of the great stuff that we derive from traditional athletic endeavors to people who may not be able to participate in traditional athletic endeavors, as well as those people.
Yeah.
What we've seen from our experience at High Score is we get the captain of the football team. He's a great player as well. But we also get the kid who has never participated in a single after-school event or anything. But it turns out that kid is incredibly passionate about a particular game or activity and wants to participate, but just hasn't had the opportunity or the calling or thing, so to speak, where it's like, oh, I'm good at that. I want to do that. I totally agree. I think that's it. I mean, honestly, we could spend 30 minutes touching on each one of those elements and how esports can really deliver in a lot of ways to both traditional and non-traditional populations in regards to positive opportunities. And gaming, for these kids, so to speak, I'm using quotes here, gaming is going to be a lifetime endeavor. Previous generations grew out of gaming. This generation will not. The vast majority of these kids will game their entire lives. So this really creates a structure and opportunity, just like, hey, I love tennis, right? I played tennis my whole life. I like to go out and play, or football, or anything else. These kids will be playing games forever. So why not help them create a positive social and individual experience that that they can use forever and enjoy.
And I don't know that you touched on it, but one of the things that you said, maybe it was in the slides, but I know we've talked about it, you will, as part of this partnership, you will provide nights of learning for parents on helping self-regulate their kids' playing time at home, and some of the unhealthy behaviors that can be associated with gaming. You and your team, you have some of those points of reference that can be an education to parents, and not only create a dialogue, but probably offer some things that they can do at home to help with that regulation.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because just like anything, right, especially games, we know the screen space can co-op a lot of time and have a lot of negative effects. So one of the many things that we focus on at High Score is a healthy use policy, right? We heavily encourage and have programs with physical activity and exercise, because good athletes are in good shape across the board, right? They're mentally, they're physically, they can perform better if they feel better. But then, exactly said, courses and classes and educational materials for parents to help them understand what their student player is going through and what they're experiencing, education about the games themselves, but then also how to do it in a safe, healthy, happy way. Because it's not always about just more games and more games and more games. I think that's, if any parents who are have negative feelings about the space, I hope they take that away. It's not just about, hey, it's about getting kids to play more games. Not at all. This is about getting kids to do what they already do in a productive construct or environment.
Yeah. So if they're interested, your last slide, the link that you have here, can you talk a little bit more about what you're looking for? What are you trying to capture with those that are listening tonight? And when we send this information out and try to get students to click on that, what are they expecting to fill out?
Absolutely. So you just go to the site, highscoreesports.com/info, and there's a simple questionnaire, right? Your name, your email, so we can contact you, and then what your interests are. It's broken down. It's just essentially drop down grade level, what games you play. If you're an administrator, a parent, or a student, just simple. Take you more than 1 minute to fill out. Please encourage everyone to fill that out. Across the board, right? Not just our players, but our parents who are interested in coaching maybe, or volunteering, our administrators who are interested in supporting or coaching or any one of those elements, but of course the players. We really want to see what the volume and interest is in particular games, because that determines, okay, do we need computers? Do we need Xboxes? Do we need, determine what the needs are, right? So please go, everyone who's listening, who's interested, please go there and just take a minute to fill it out. And then also you'll be up to date with any future announcements and what's going on, so you won't miss any tryouts or times, stuff like that.
Perfect.
Okay, so Nathaniel, thank you so much for all that information that you shared with our community. I hope they're as excited as I am. I know you're excited as well. I guess I just want to take this quick second to say thank you to all of those who participated, and you can reach out to me anytime at my email. It's wturner@troy.k12.mi.us. And Nathaniel, anything you want to say before we go?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you thanks for having me, number one, and thanks for this opportunity. Thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Please check out, and it's also will be in the links as well. Go to highscoreesports.com/info. and there you can fill out a form to let us know that you're interested in participating with the program. You can also find me on our Discord at High Score Esports. Just hop on there. I'm in there all the time. And yeah, really looking forward to it. It's going to be great.
I appreciate you reminding our community, without that information, without us having that, it's going to be really hard for us to really build that ecosystem that you and I talk so much about. It's really important that we know just how much interest is out there, and I know there is, because I've had a lot of parents, a lot of teachers come to me, and so having this tonight is just the start. But I think collecting the information will really help us get that ball rolling efficiently. So thank you again, Nathaniel, and I look forward to the years to come.
Absolutely.